So, today is my 1 year anniversary of quitting smoking, and I would like to talk about it. You might ask, what's my secret? I really honestly think the secret is there is no secret. It wasn't particularly difficult. I know that's a controversial statement. I think there are various factors involved. I think it helps that I had quit before several times, and you kind of build those, you know what you're in for. It's not like, oh, you're unknown territory. But yeah, a year ago I quit smoking cigarettes and don't really look back. I just noticed I had these lying around. These are a year old. Haven't even thought about smoking them. Didn't even realise it was the anniversary until I just thought of it. I wasn't counting down the days. I was just like, oh yeah, that was my last cigarette. I was sitting on a bench with a colleague of mine, smoking a cigarette. Had cut down a bit. I think one of the things that helped me is when I moved to Japan, I didn't really find rolling tobacco, and I was always uh, a rolly man rather than a straight. And I really find that straight cigarettes are not the same. They're unpleasant, frankly. They're too. I don't know. I don't know really. They're too thick. I think I prefer to craft my own rolling tobacco cigarette. But yeah, smoking is not a good habit. Of course, it's lethal. I think it's. I don't know. I think it's less addictive than is marketed. I think there's this weird paradigm where we're told it's incredibly addictive, and then I think people just think it is, and somehow that fools them into actually being addicted somehow. You might be thinking I'm crazy, but honestly, I think the hardest thing to do is just to actually decide to quit, and it's not that hard. You just have to want to quit, and after a few months or even a few weeks, you think that's just silly. You're wasting a lot of money. You're What are you getting out of it? Nothing. It's not like it's like you smoke a cigarette and you think, oh, I feel great now. Not really. You get a momentary fix like you might do from a cup of coffee or something. It's basically as menial as that. The main thing is the relief of your withdrawals. You think you crave it. You don't you don't need to smoke cigarettes. I do think there is some brain. There is when I was writing, when I write, I sometimes think I would like some tobacco. I don't want to smoke because I don't want all the tar and all the chemicals and stuff, but I do think, I mean, the Native Americans, obviously on the packet, that's just marketing, but traditionally they smoked a ceremonial pipe, and that wasn't an addiction. That was because they held the tobacco plant in some value. They held it in a kind of high regard, and it was different. It was a ceremony. It's like people sitting around bonding, discussing matters, I imagine, over a pipe on occasion. Now that kind of smoking I don't see much harm in, but it's the perpetual cigarette smoking that's obviously very bad for you. Um, and I'm pretty sure that because you're not allowed to eat, or sorry, you don't need to write the ingredients in on tobacco. So I'm pretty sure that the smoking companies, the tobacco companies, add stuff in to make you more addicted. Obviously they would if they could, and they can because you don't have to put ingredients on. They just add shitloads of chemicals, whatever they want. Probably unknown addictive qualities. Who knows? Don't want any of that. Not interested. And I would say it's perfectly simple to quit smoking. You just need to decide and just stop. You don't need to throw. There's all kinds of weird methods people employ. You don't need to throw away. I mean, I had cigarettes just lying around. They've been lying here for a year. You don't need to throw away your cigarettes. You don't need to throw away your lighters and ashtrays. You don't need to You don't need to stop going to pubs or stop going to places where people smoke. That's nonsense. All you need to do is decide to not smoke, and you don't have to. It's fine. It's not like you build things up in your mind. It's like, or maybe people will say, like, why are you not smoking? Ridiculous. Of course not. Like, more and more people don't smoke. Most people don't smoke. It's like, I just don't smoke. That's it. That's all you have to say. I don't smoke. Thanks for those. People don't offer anyone cigarettes. In the old days, in the old movies, it's like, cigarette? No one does that, and because they're too expensive, probably, apart from anything else. So I just don't think it's. I think you just have to decide to stop smoking, and you do. Because I always had the problem of being quite regular with my cigarettes. Like, I have a couple of friends that smoke maybe once every couple of weeks, something like that. They just like to socially smoke. I could never quite get. Okay, I did go through a phase of doing that, but I'd always just back into the actual regular smoking of getting up, wanting a cigarette in the morning. It's kind of like a nice routine thing. I liked it, and I did. I'm not going to lie, I did enjoy it. But at a certain point, I thought, we're all shuffling off this mortal coil anyway. Why speed it up? It's just, I like to live. I don't want to die because of something so dumb as cigarettes. It's so stupid. And I always thought that as a kid, and then somehow I got looped into it somehow. I can't quite remember how. I think it was because I liked a girl that smoked originally, which is, again, very stupid way of picking it up. And you can forgive people that are old. Like, my granny smoked a lot of her life, and she was, she lived to an old age anyway. But she was born in 1930, and no one knew it was so bad for you. I think there's a big suppression of information by the cigarette companies, and then it came out. There's that really good film out with Al Pacino. What's it called? The Michael Mann film. Fantastic film about smoking, about like the cigarette companies. But yeah, just if you want to stop smoking, I'd say just decide to stop smoking and say, that's it, I'm done. You might get a couple of cravings, but just do something else. Go for a run. Just fight. It's not that complicated. You don't need to make any great changes. You just need to distract yourself, I guess, if you have. But I don't even remember having cravings, to be honest. I just stopped. That's it. It's a habit. It's really just a habit. I pretty much think that with anything. I don't really buy into addiction too much. I think people are addicted to things, but I think that's because there are other elements of their life that are in shambles. So I think that you should work from the ground up. I think you should get rid of the low-hanging fruit. Just, is there something bothering you? Maybe there is, because if you're always reaching for a cigarette, you might be struggling with something else. I don't know, but exercise helps a lot. I think if you really exercise a lot, you don't really want to smoke. If you go for a really proper long exercise, you get back, you feel great, you feel relaxed. You don't want to smoke. You don't want to. Do I miss it? No, I don't miss it at all. Not at all. That's not quite true. Occasionally, I think. Do you know what? I actually quit smoking before, and I did pick up a cigarette just on a whim. I didn't even want one. I just thought, I was in Italy. I was in Rome, and I was drinking a coffee, I think. and I just thought, I'm in Rome drinking a coffee, and it's a beautiful day, and I'm really happy, and I made that association, and I thought, what, I should smoke a cigarette, even though I didn't actually want one. And that's very, very silly. And then I ended up going back to smoking. So there's obviously some kind of... The honest answer is I don't know all the answers, but I do know that I just decided to quit smoking, and I did. And I had no issue. There was no struggle. It wasn't hard. I just put down my cigarettes and said, that's it, I'm done. So I think it can be as simple as that. I hope you found this video helpful. I think it's a bit of an alternative perspective on smoking, because obviously, like most, there's whole books dedicated to giving up smoking. I don't see it as that hard. But you know, obviously everyone's different, and maybe that's just been my experience, and I've been very lucky, perhaps. But I also think there's this aura of difficulty which is perpetrated by the media and whatnot, and I just think that makes it harder. And people think, oh, it's going to be so tough, it's going to be so tough. It's not going to be tough at all. It's absolutely not. It's you just have to decide. That's the most important thing, because if you haven't decided, then you won't stop. And you have to realise that after a couple of weeks even, you'll suddenly realise that it's not something... When you're a smoker, when you are a smoker, you think of it as a thing you have to do. It's like it's a trick. It's built into you. It's like, I've got to do this, and that's part of my day, and if I don't do that, I'm going to feel bad.